Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Travel God of Extreme, Travel Metal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here for a Wednesday evening, getting close to Wednesday night video, right here on Metal God 669. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video and hit that subscribe button down below in the description box. Do it now. Or forever hold your peace. And that's pretty much it. Alright, not gonna do a big intro. This is not a tribute video per se, but we're gonna talk some serious shit right now. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock, and pretty much are new here, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Peter Joseph. I'm a content creator talking about heavy metal, and I do tribute videos to the faithful departed in the world of music, movies, sports, and that's wrestling included, politics, stuff like that. And I also talk about music. I do have some music-related videos. I just put up a couple from a gig I was at last week, so check those out. More music-related videos to come. This video is a music-related video, and you know, we're all waiting for this day to come, and 1 year ago today was the most tragic day in the history of heavy metal. I think, and most of you all know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Ozzy Day, because 1 year ago today, we lost God, basically. We lost God. Who is basically Ozzy Osbourne, due to complications from Parkinson's disease. 2 weeks after the epic End of the Beginning concert in England with like Judas Priest, Metallica, so many people were there. It was just insane, and you know, doctors told Ozzy, don't do it. Ozzy's like, I'm gonna do it, fuck you! So Ozzy did it. He looked great doing it. He was crying during My Mom Coming Home with Zach, and with Zach, well, not with Zach, with Zach and, I think Rudy Salzo or, Robert Trujillo on stage, and, obviously not Randy Castillo, because he passed away a long time ago. The trouble he's had pretty much since after Randy Castillo passed away. No, not the dude from Faith No More. It's after him. But, Tommy, I forget his last name, but anyway, so, you know, see Ozzy basically in a chair for his part of the concert. It was also the final time we're going to see Sabbath with him, Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward. Amazing set there, and amazing set. His solo set was great. Gus Key was actually there, who did the album Scream, and I think that he did. I thought he did one after that, but mainly it was Jakey Lee was there, Ozzy's guitarist after Randy Rhoads passed away. He was there, you know, he was in great condition because he got shot a few months prior to that. But he still looked great, and the whole concert was epic. But like I said, Ozzy, you know, he was in the chair, because he had back and neck issues, and he really wanted to get out of that chair. He was like squirming, like, get me out of this chair, Shannon! And he couldn't do it because God knows what would have happened if he would have got up. He would have fell over. Who knows? But just an amazing concert. But 2 weeks after that, we found out that he passed away pretty much the morning of July 22nd, 2025. And basically we heard God passed away, which was Ozzy. So, you know, so I'm going to give a little tribute to Ozzy 1 year later. You know, I feel bad for Sharon. I feel bad for Jack and Kelly. Jack and Kelly lost their dad. Lewis, his first kid from his first marriage. And Amy, who we really don't see much. They're devastated. And it was just sad. It's just a sad day. I remember it like yesterday, basically. I got up that morning, just a good. I was trying to have a good day. I had to go to physical therapy that day, so I get up, I go to physical therapy, and do my thing. And then while I'm getting my massage and getting basically doing my exercise and all that shit, my phone rings, but I couldn't answer the phone. And then before I was leaving the building, my dad called me, and I couldn't answer the phone because I was in session, so I couldn't really touch the phone or anything like that until after the session. So as I'm leaving the building, I stepped outside, called my dad back, and he goes, I did my lurch impression. You rang. So he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, your uncle said that Ozzy's dead. I'm like, what? Ozzy's dead? I was like, this better not be a joke. I will come down to where you are and kick your ass. He said, no, Ozzy's dead. I'm not lying. And like, when I lie to you, I'm like, yeah, you do. But in any case, I went on Google, because you have to Google death pranks and all that shit, because there's a lot of outlets that say, oh, this person died, but then you make sure it's actual news. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's like a death hoax and stuff like that. So I went on Google, and I typed in, is Ozzy dead? And then, boom! The news, I got a whole ton of articles from like CNN, I got People Magazine, Blabbermouth, the heavy metal websites, TMZ, and I'm like, shit. So I just looked at the first thing I looked, the first site I can find, and it said Ozzy Osbourne passes away at the age of 76. I'm like, what? I mean, he was fine 2 weeks ago. So I'm reading the article, and I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like, how? He was fine 2 weeks ago. But sadly, and I'm reading the article, and he passed away in his sleep due to complications from Parkinson's disease and all that other stuff, which I guess got really aggressive 2 weeks after the concert in England. So maybe the doctors were actually right to tell Ozzy don't do the concert, but Ozzy, being persistent, wanted to give the fans one final final time to see the guy. He's like, I'm gonna do it for the fans. He did it. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, he's passed away. I fucking lost it. I called back my dad. Actually, I was still on the phone with my dad. I'm like, holy shit, he's actually dead. I was like, I can't believe it. And I said, I gotta go. I hung up the phone, went back to my house. As soon as I got in the house, the waterworks started. I'm crying up a fucking river. Because Ozzy meant so much to my childhood and into pretty much my teenage years, into my adult years, into my college years. He just meant so much to me. I met him, I met his family, I met Jack, I met Sharon, I met Kelly. Didn't meet Lewis or anybody else, but, and I just lost it. I mean, I did the video. You could tell I was in a lot of pain, and I was not pain like I'm hurting my ankle or anything like that. But I was in so much emotional pain that I was lucky to get through that video. I almost cried on the video, and I was like, if people freaking dislike this video, I'm going to fucking go insane. Like this video, I know people are going to do it because my stalkers have no fucking soul. It's black. And if they want to do that, go ahead and do it. But you know where you're going to go. You're going to go straight to hell. like Ozzy's fate, one of Ozzy's great songs. Straight to hell, that's where you're gonna go. And if you don't like me saying that, tough shit. But, because you don't know how much Ozzy meant to me, probably most of you haters never met the man. You claim you do, but where's the proof of that? I already have proof, so I still have it. I think I still have it somewhere. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have one. Do I have the other one? I have the last picture I ever took of Ozzy. I have it somewhere. It's gonna, I should have recorded this earlier, but whatever. But it is what it is. I have it somewhere. It's in one of my drawers. So, yeah, maybe I don't. I know I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Oh, actually, I do have it. I'm looking at my drawer like an idiot, but I digress. So here's one. I always show these off. This is from Ozfest '99 backstage. Look how great he is. Great man. And let me get up and get the picture off if I can. Off my wall, off my wall here. This is the actual last picture I ever took with Ozzy. This is from, I think it was circa 2000, 2001. This is during the Prince of Darkness box set. So, when I show receipts, I show receipts. So, there it is. If I can get that in frame. I know my camera's shit, but there's me right here. I still have the shirt. I don't think I have the shirt anymore, but here's me, here's Ozzy. One of the greatest times of my life. And and I met him a couple of times before that. I first met him at Ozfest '98. Where I backstage. I went backstage and met him. I gave him I shook his hand. I met Zach. I met Sharon. I met Jack. Didn't meet Kelly that show, but I didn't meet Kelly till '99. The year after that, where I took the backstage picture with Slipknot was there too. Blah 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 blah. But just a great man, he had that great accent, and you're like, Mr. Gilmore, at the time. Mr. Gilmore, how you doing, man? Great to see you, man. And from there, pretty much, Ozzy, Sharon, and the family became, intertwined. It's just a weird story. That, I always say this, that I'm the forgotten Osbourne, because basically, I have the same birth month as Ozzy. Ozzy's birthday is December the 2nd or 3rd, I believe, somewhere around that area. It's early December. And my birthday is Christmas Eve, we all know that. And I have the same birth month as Lemmy Kilmister. So I share a birth month with two metal gods who have passed away. Ozzy and Lemmy. I'm gifted. So, we got that. And another interesting stat, Kelly Osbourne has the same birthday as my dad, which is the end of October. It's insane. Sharon's birthday is the same month as my dad and Kelly. It's crazy, because Sharon's birthday is in early October, and I think Jack's birthday is, in November. So, no, nothing right in November, but yeah. I consider myself the extra Osbourne, because me and the Osbourne family are like this, But man, when Ozzy passed away, I lost it. I still listen to Ozzy's music. Obviously, I first went to my first Ozzy concert, 1989, during the No More Tours. Part 1. Remember when he did No More Tours, when he was supposedly going to retire? Nobody retires, right, Kiss? But I digress. I went there, I think it was at the Nassau Coliseum. I forget, but I went to see Ozzy, and doing the No More Tears tour, or No More Tours tour, but he was just a wild man. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, I didn't even know about Sabbath until one of my best friend's brother, who took me to the concert, says, yeah, he had a band called Sabbath. And then, like, after the concert, like a week after the concert, I went to my best friend's house, and his brother was there, and he's showing me Sabbath. Like, early Sabbath, like the first record Sabbath, with, Black Sabbath and, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid, and Iron Man, stuff like that. The early Sabbath albums. Just amazing. The tone that Tony Iommi, it was like, damn. It was like dark, scary, witchy metal. I'm like, that guitar tone is crazy. And most of the time, Tony Iommi was in downtune anyway. So, especially Children of the Grave is downtuned. But they were the forefathers of heavy metal. Oh, people say Zeppelin, which, no. Sabbath was the forefathers of metal. And then after that, you had bands like Judas Priest, who influenced Iron Maiden, who influenced like bands like Metallica, Megadeth, Saxon, bands like that. Even up to the 80s bands, the 80s metal bands, the glam metal bands like Def Leppard. There's a few intricacies from that. Bon Jovi, who went on tour with Ozzy and stuff like that. Metallica, stuff like that. And then after that, you get the Panteras, you get the Skid Rows, Rat, all the way up to Marilyn Manson, Slipknot, and then you go into today's metal. You have Motionless in White, New Year's Day, In This Moment, have had some influences from Ozzy and Sabbath. In This Moment's gone on tour with Ozzy, doing their first record, and I was there for that, with Ozzy and Rob Zombie, and In This Moment opened for them. That was epic, and that was at the Garden. And Kelly was is backstage, and I'm like talking to one of my friends went with me, and we're like walking around the concourse area, right near. We're sitting here. The stage is this way. We're here, right? And then we go down a level, because our seats were that around the same level. So we go down a few go down the steps a little bit, and we're just hanging out. We're just like looking around the stage area, just looking around. Next thing I know, out of the corner of my eye, I see, is that Kelly? And I go, hey, Kelly! Kelly's like, what? And then she sees me. I don't know how she saw me, but I'm like, she's like, the last time I actually met Kelly, I was gonna meet her during her book tour, because she had a book out. I wanted to go, but it was raining like crazy. I was like, no, I'm not. I was gonna sacrifice myself and get soaking wet to go to that book tour at Barnes & Noble, but never went. Which kind of sucks for me, but it is what it is. But yeah, when I took this picture, I waited online. Me and one of my college friends, we did a radio show together back in the day. We went to Tower Records when it used to be on West 4th Street in New York City. We went early. We got there early. We were pretty much the first couple people there, because the thing didn't start till I think 7 at dark. It was at dark 7, 8. I think it was like 7, 8 o'clock, something like around that time when it got dark. So we're just hanging out. We got some food. I would get off to get the food, and my friend would hold my spot and everything. And then eventually Ozzy and Sharon and one of Ozzy's assistants came in. We saw them go into the Tower Records and stuff like that. And then my friend goes into Tower Records, not when Ozzy was in there, but he went in there. He got the box set, the Prince of Darkness box set, and then he had a wristband. I'm like, where'd you get that? He says, you get it when you buy the box set. I'm like, I didn't know that. It's like, you didn't tell me that. It's like, oh crap, now I'm not gonna meet Ozzy. I'm gonna be here for nothing, right? So next thing I know, he goes back into the store, gets me my copy of the Prince of Darkness box set, which I still have, and I have an extra one not signed, but I wish. But, so, thankfully, if it wasn't for my friend, I wouldn't have got this picture. So, but it is what it is. So anyway, the light, Ozzy gets in there, we're all going crazy, the line's getting deep and everything. We finally get in, because we were, like I said, we were first few people, like about 10, maybe 15 people deep at the time. So we got in pretty easily. So we get in, and there was a line. Ozzy had a big thing. Like, Ozzy was on a throne, even though he didn't sit down. But you see the backdrop and everything. And people are going up to him. And there's a guy with a Polaroid camera. Like, Polaroid picture. Polaroid camera. You take the picture, you get it, and you shake it. You do the crap until it focuses and shit. But that was that. So, I'm behind my friend. And as soon as he goes up to meet Ozzy, I'm ready. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh man, I'm meeting Ozzy again. It's gonna be great. My friend does the most stupidest thing. He's acting like a complete jerk to Ozzy. And he's like saying, I don't know what he said, but... And then the freaking cameraman's like, come on, let's go. We gotta take the picture. And my friend's just being an ass. So... Finally, he takes the picture, and he goes around to the outside. It's like, all right, I'll meet you outside, blah, blah, blah. So, I go up, I go meet Ozzy, I shake his hand, he remembered me right away. Peter Gilmore, I love you like a son, So I go up, I was like, hey, Oz, what's going on? Shook his hand, he hugged me and everything. Took the picture, which, it's not a great focus camera, I'm sorry, back in 2000s, we didn't have iPhones. We didn't have iPhones back in the day. I had to use Polaroid pictures, or I don't know. I don't think 2001 had even flip phones or some shit like that, or digital cameras. I don't think so, but anyway. So we take the picture, and I shook Ozzy's hand again, gave him a hug. That's it, and I was going to leave, and I'm turning the corner, because, you go here, and then there's like a, you follow like an aisle, or everybody else that was going out the store, and I'm turning the corner, I see, one of Ozzy's assistants, I didn't want to talk to him, and then, next thing I know, I see Sharon out of the corner of my eye, and I wave to Sharon, she was like, come here. Sharon, basically didn't grab me. Sharon came up to me and goes, please, Mr. Peter, please, marry my daughter. And mind you, Kelly was around 16, 17 at the time, during the first couple of seasons of the Osbourne TV show on MTV. And I think she was going out with Bert, Bert from The Used. I'm like, I could have took her. Oh, I regretted saying no. I'm like, I could have been married to Kelly Osbourne by now. You think I would have been with the missus by now? I said, look, Sharon, your daughter's a little bit young for me. I'm like in my around my 30s or so, my 20s or 30s or whatever. Kelly's a little bit young for me. I don't know if it'd be a great idea. Says, one, I don't have a job, At the time, I was in college, so I didn't have a job yet. But this is before I was working for Roadrunner. Before, because I didn't start working for Roadrunner until... I interned for them in 98. I didn't start working for them until 2004-ish. Somewhere around that era, I forget. But whatever. So, I could have got a job working behind the scenes with Sharon or doing something, with Ozzy. I could have been on the road with Ozzy. Just setting up... Maybe I could have been a roadie. I don't know, but... Man. But Sharon, saying, please marry my daughter, If Kelly was a few years older, yeah, I would have took you up on that. I wouldn't have gave a crap. I would have took that in a heartbeat. But, now Kelly is, she's getting close to 40. Well, she's about to be, I think she is going to be 40. Has a beautiful baby boy named Sydney, who she had with, Sid Wilson from Slipknot. Sadly, they broke up. They were about to get married, and right before they were about to get married, Ozzy passed away, and then they broke up. Kind of broke Kelly's heart, broke Sid Jr.'s heart, because, but they broke up amicably, so they're still friends, but, I don't know why it's not gonna work, it didn't work out, I don't know, but I hope Kelly finds happiness. I mean, Kelly, you're still, I might even get in touch with Sharon. It's like, that idea you had about 20-some-odd years ago? I'm available. Well, not really available, but, the missus wouldn't want to do that, but, I mean, she would have let me, but, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, moving on, but, yeah, I wish Kelly, success, and, with her fashion stuff, and, hope she finds a new man, whoever that might be. It could have been me. It could be, you never know, but, you never know in the wacky world we live in, but, I feel bad for Sharon. I really feel bad for Jack, because after the concert and after the funeral, which was an amazing funeral in Birmingham, which I have an Ozzy Day there in Birmingham and stuff like that, with the memorials, they have the museum, flowers galore in Birmingham, right around where Ozzy used to live and everything. Just an amazing tribute down there. But yeah, Jack did I think his podcast, and he did it with Youngblood, who did an amazing cover of Changes and everything, which pretty much went to #1 on his album. So, then after that we had the tributes to Ozzy, when we had one when he was alive. I think it was, they had one for the Grammys. I think that was the one where Youngblood sang on that. Then he had Joey Roll singing with Billy Idol, and it had Wolfgang Van Halen, and the guy from Tool. It was a good tribute, Jack Black and everything. Good stuff. Good stuff. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not once, but twice, by himself and with Sabbath. Amazing records. Just a great man, and I really, really wish we could turn back time, and Ozzy wouldn't die, wouldn't have been dead. Ozzy would be, chilling right now. It'd be be kicking some ass wherever he may be. Maybe make a final record. But sadly, he was taken from us on July 22nd, 2025. So now it's 1 year later. It comes full circle. 1 year later, and I miss the guy. I miss my dad, basically. My metal dad. I talk about metal dads and metal moms and metal sisters, stuff like that. We all know my metal sister is Maria Brank. My metal brother is Chris Howarth of In This Moment. My metal mom is, it could be, really it's Maria too, but Maria's my mom and sister, so, but, you can put Lizzie Hale or Ash Costello. I probably put Ash Costello now as my metal sister, because Maria went up to mother status, so, or you put Sharon there too, but it's what it is. But, yeah, so when I talk about Ozzy, I talk about him as dad, I talk about him as the true metal god, not Rob Halford per se, but, but I miss him. I miss him dearly, and I woke up this morning knowing it was Ozzy Day, the anniversary of his death, and, I just started bawling because it was his day, and I wish I was wearing an Ozzy shirt, but my Ozzy shirts are in the wash right now, so it is what it is. Let me read a little excerpt from. This is from Billboard magazine. I think this is from today. Where Sharon Osbourne was encouraging fans to remember her late husband, remembering Ozzy, not through sadness, but through the music and the larger-than-life spirit that defined him. So, we had that. So a lot of yeah, I was playing. I went to my psychiatrist appointment, and I'm on the bus listening to Ozzy, like the early, I have an Ozzy playlist on Spotify, and I'm listening to like Crazy Train. I'm listening to Mr. Crowley or whatever song was on my shuffle list. Even the deep cuts that it's never heard, like Kill of Giants off Ultimate Sin or Lightning Strikes off Ultimate Sin. All the good stuff. Anyway, so that the interview arrived one day after Kelly marked the anniversary of Ozzy's death through an emotional letter addressed on her Instagram. You can go check that on her Instagram page. And in the post, she wrote that she continues to feel his presence every day and sees parts of him in her young son Sydney, while sharing vulnerability around the profound grief she has experienced since his passing. Like I said, he died today, not died today, but died on this date last year, July 22nd, 2025, at age 76, less than 3 weeks after reuniting with Black Sabbath for the band's farewell Back to the Beginning concert. I said end the beginning, but it meant back to the beginning. Sharon acknowledged the past year has been filled with loss. Her message to fans was ultimately one of celebration. Keep Ozzy's memory alive by sharing his music, embracing his unmistakable spirit, and remembering the joy he brought to millions around the world. This is an amazing guy. Yeah, that's... that was that. Let me just, hold on. Hold on one second. So she spoke with BBC Radio WM, where basically, like I said, she hopes, people will remember Ozzy as someone whose humor, honesty, and authenticity never faded, regardless of if it was on stage or in the comfort of his own home. By the way, I visited his home, the Osbourne's home. That house that was shown on the Osbournes, I was there for the Christmas episode. You don't see me much, but I'm there. But I digress. But according to Sharon, Ozzy would have wanted fans to honor his memory by yank the music up real loud. That's crank, basically. As loud as you can get it, and just headbang. So that interview came as Birmingham, England, which is Ozzy's hometown, prepared to host his first Ozzy Day, a citywide celebration that recognizes the legendary musician's impact on both his hometown and the global heavy metal community. Sharon shared that she hopes the annual event, so this is going to be annual, this is good, will continue for years to come, describing Birmingham as the only appropriate place to commemorate the singer's legacy because of the pride he held of where he came from. And beyond his music, Sharon touched on Ozzy's generosity, highlighting the charitable work connected to the band's farewell Back to the Beginning gig at Sabbath in 25. Concert raised money for organizations like Cure Parkinson's, Acorns Children's Hospice, and Birmingham Children's Hospital. Sharon said supporting these causes remains important to her and the family, particularly in efforts to advance Parkinson's research following Ozzy's own diagnosis back in 2019. Sharon said, "We will continue charity support until we find a cure for Parkinson's because people don't realize it's more and more prevalent. We all know Michael J. Fox has it, but he's doing good, but I think he's around 60 in his 60s now. I could be wrong on that, but he's fighting he's fighting MS and he's fighting Parkinson's disease. We know Jack has Jack has MS, but he's doing great. Even though he's had some moments there. Did I mention Kelly's post on Instagram? And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So we're gonna end it here. There are other things to do. But let's just remember Ozzy in our own way. Do your own tribute videos to Ozzy. Your memories of Ozzy, pictures of Ozzy, stuff like that. But, today is a very sad day. 1 year later, Ozzy Osbourne, we remember him on this day in, July 22nd, 2026, 1 year later. I talk about in wrestling, Daphne, her birthday just passed, and coming up in September is going to be, I believe, the 5-year, I think it's the 5-year anniversary of her passing, right around Labor Day weekend. So that's going to be another emotional thing for me to get through, because I miss Shannon, I miss Daphne to bits, and as much as I miss my own family members who have passed away, and all the musicians who have passed away, like Eddie Van Halen, Lemmy, Eddie Van Halen, like I mentioned before, Ozzy, Ronnie James Dio, people like that. And, I cranked up Ozzy today. I'm probably going to crank it up for the rest of this week into the weekend. I think you should too. And, especially on Ozzy's birthday, crank up his music come December, because we're going to celebrate his 77th birthday, actually his 78th birthday, because he died in July of last year, then it became, he was 76 at the time, now he's 77, he was going to be 78 in December, so he would have been 78, so he is basically about a year, well, I'm not going to go there, but he's near 80, let's just put it that way, but just an amazing man. I miss you, Dad. I miss you, Ozzy. Rocking up there in heaven with Randy Rhoads, Randy Castillo, Ronnie James Dio, and all those greats. Dimebag Darrell, Vinnie Paul. Big super group up in the sky and everything. And that big concert metal hall in the sky. Just kicking ass. And, hopefully one day when I get there, Ozzy will be right at the gates and just say, "Oh, Peter Gilmore, get in here," I'm not trying to make fun, but, But when I get up to heaven, I hope to see Ozzy, I hope to see Lemmy, Eddie Van Halen, Ronnie James Dio, all the greats that I grew up on in the world of metal, classic rock, 80s, and, then, see my grandparents, and a couple of my friends who have passed away, and everything, eventually my mom and dad when I get up there too, and my aunts and uncles who have passed on, who passed on and will be passing on when probably before I go. So we're all gonna have fun when we get up there, and we're gonna jam up there, and we're gonna have fun, and then maybe in our next life we'll come back as great people too. I would love to come back as Ozzy or Randy Rhoads or even Ronnie James Dio or Eddie Van Halen, But, we'll see what happens, next life, basically. So, leave me your thoughts and opinions down below, and, that's all I gotta say about that. So, leave me your comments down below about Ozzy 1 year later, and, that's pretty much it. So, to close out the video, Ozzy, Dad, thank you so much for my childhood, growing up with heavy metal. One of the reasons why I love heavy metal, besides Metallica, besides Sabbath, growing up as a teenager, first album I bought was No More Tears, and I went back in the catalog with Ozzy, with Sabbath, with Metallica, Megadeth, and in the 80s bands like Bon Jovi, AC/DC, stuff like that. And, going through the 90s with grunge era, with Pantera, all the way up to Creed, and Nickelback, Godsmack, Disturbed, Stained, New Year's Day, In This Moment, Conquer Divide, so many bands influenced by Sabbath and Ozzy, just amazing. That's why heavy metal is probably one of the most, I think it's the number one genre of music today. I know people will say, "Oh, it's rap." No, it's probably not, but if it is, I mean, so what? Metal is just brings everybody together. And, I know you get people saying, oh, metal is for Satan worshippers, and people who OD on drugs. I mean, you people are dumb. I think you're on meth or some shit. You don't know real music. You listen to garbage like Ren. I mean, come on. It's boring. I don't listen to that shit. If I want to calm down, I'll throw on an In This Moment record. I'll throw on some Ozzy. I might throw on some Isley Brothers tunes. I don't know, but metal has gotten me through a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, and even a lot of really bad times where I wanted to, end it all. But as they say, suicide is not the answer. But even Ozzy had a song called "Suicide Solution," which is not about suicide. It's about drinking yourself to death. Which I'm not a drinker, so. But I mean, it got him a lot of heat back in the day. But it is what it is. But but when I need to calm down, and if I'm having a stressful day, I'm just depressed, or just having I'm in a mood basically. I throw on some metal, and after about 30 minutes to about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I'm good. I'm not gonna go break shit in my house. I mean, I have those, like, I have the anger, like, oh, fucking shit, throwing shit in my house, yelling and screaming up the wazoo, and sometimes I have to take a break. I have to go outside, go into the park, and just throw on my headphones, and just throw on Spotify, and just put on the In This Moment playlist, or just put on shuffle. I don't give a shit, And I just walk and try to clear my head, and then when I eventually clear my head, after about a half hour to about an hour or so, I come back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad anymore. So, that's that. But that's what metal has done in my life. And Ozzy, big part of my life, from the late 80s all the way through the 90s, through the TV show, all the other shit, which was, when he almost died, when he fell off the ATV, which landed on his neck and almost killed him for a little bit. I was nervous. I'm like, oh, we can't lose God now, because he fell off the ATV and the ATV fell on him, and that was pretty much the start of his neck problems, and he fell in the shower in later years. But through it all, Ozzy was just an amazing fucking person, and I loved it. And I miss him every day. I miss Ozzy every day. I miss my cat Zuzu every day too, but I miss Ozzy even more. So, but it is what it is. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching. God bless Ozzy fucking Osbourne. God bless heavy metal. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below, and let's just remember Ozzy today. Let's throw on some Ozzy. Let's throw on some Sabbath. Blast that fucking shit out the window. Let's scare your neighbors. And all that other shit, but that's it. Until next time, as Ozzy would say, rock and roll! And that's it. Until next time, peace. Rock on.